All right, guys, welcome back to the WPF. We got something a little different this week. No power rankings as we're waiting on some battles to catch up, so I figured I would go ahead and do the mid to late season analysis of each of the teams. So I'm just going to go through each team, how I think they've done compared to my initial thoughts of them from the start of the season, and just as what I think is going to happen in terms of playoff structure going forward. We're going to just go down the spreadsheet, so just like this is not in any order, it's just based off the conferences. So we're just going to start off here looking like I'm up first. We got Tennessee. We're sitting in a good spot. I believe we need one more win and we'll lock ourselves into a playoff spot. This team's done better than I thought it was going to. I'm still not a fan of it. I don't know how we're piecing things together each week. It seems like every week I do not have a favorable matchup. I've used all three of my free agent trades to kind of try to make this team a little bit better. Mega Aggron is not good glue. We did not build around this thing very well, I don't think. Landorus has been good. Landorus is just, it's a boring mod, but it does what it needs to do. Like, it does its role for each week rather well. Strong mon. Bland. It's just bland. It's Landorus T. Regular Gyarados, sadly, I have not used as well as I wish it would do. Aziz has been fun, but it's not as good as the Mega. I will miss the Mega and Sword and Shield for sure. If I had to pick like a team MVP, I would probably either go with Alolan Muck or Rotom Heat. I believe they've really put in a lot of work this season. Now, trade MVP, if I had to pick one of those, Primeape has been a great addition. That thing has done work. Surprised to see. Like, as a tier 5, I should have just picked it from the start because Cryogonal was just, it was a bad draft pick. It didn't fit the team. It just doesn't, it's meh, very meh. But honestly, I'm excited to see how, if we do make it to the playoffs, all things going as they should. I believe we're pretty close to locking in. We may get out of the first round, may not, depending on who our matchup is. If we run into Panda again, I do not think we're going to luck our way out of that. If he makes it. Midwest, if we run into them again, I don't think we'll beat them. Midwest is just playing out of this world. But so far, I would say this season's been better than anticipated. I've enjoyed using some of the mons. Mega Aggron does not on it. Things that I have really enjoyed has been probably Alolan Raichu has been fun. That was a surprise. I just kind of picked it up because I like its design a little bit. I wish we could have made Starmie work in terms of trades. It just didn't fit. Azelf was probably a good pickup, just another pivot because this team really needs to kind of set into positions here. And of course, we traded Rabombi like I always do when I draft this. Bring it 0 times and trade it away right before the deadline. But Tennessee, we're sitting in a good spot. We'll see how this season finishes out and if we can make a push into the playoffs. So coming up next, we're going to have Violet City. A team that started off rather hot has kind of petered out as of late. They were in a good first 4 weeks. They were sitting in a really good spot, but just as of right now, they're sitting out. They're on the outside looking in, and their odds of getting into the playoffs are rather low. They've made quite a few trades throughout the season. I don't know how I feel about them keeping Smeargle. That was one thing. If they were going to trade something, I thought they were going to get rid of that. They've made pretty good use of Tapu Fini throughout the season. It's done well. Kartana has been in position to win games for him, so that's been pretty solid. But again, nothing really stands out in terms of mon usage this season. Well, actually, let me take that back. Oricorio actually has got a really good plus minus for the games that has come to, so he's used that well with the different typings. They do have the chance to play spoiler here, and there's like if they win out, there's very small odds they make the playoffs. I don't think they do, unfortunately, with who they've got remaining. I believe they still have to play Madison, for that week 9 match. It's not looking good compared to last season. There's definitely been a vast improvement in this coach's play. Roxman is a good competitor, good spirit. I really appreciate what he does in the league. He's just a good soul. He's a good soul. Sad to see that he's kind of like I said, petered out from the beginning, but there is improvement from season to season, so that's been noted. If I had to say from this team what the best thing, getting rid of Snorlax for Cresselia did not help this team. Of all the trades, that's probably my least favorite one because Snorlax had him some setup potential. It is a threat, and Cresselia is kind of setup fodder. It's a little easier to prep for there. But not a bad, like, overall team comp's not too bad. It just, besides Salaz and Cartana, there's no real big hard hitters. It's been cool to see, like, Mega Glalie kind of come in and do a few things here and there, but nothing, like, just stands out. So we're going to move on to Sootopolis, who is yet to, I don't believe they've played since they've taken over their team. This team's been just, it has a lot of power from the top tier mons, in my opinion, here, and then it's kind of the lower tier, just haven't made use of them very well this season. The trades, like we'd said before, I was not like the free agent trades when the new coach took over, I'm not really a fan of. I don't see this team making a playoff run. Granted, we haven't seen them play. I just feel like they're in a tough spot in terms of where they're at. Their division's pretty stacked. They got to play Tennessee and they got to play Midwest one more time, so they might snag one win out of the two of those, if anything. But I don't see them going pretty deep or at all making it to the playoffs, sadly. I have liked the use of Bulu. I thought the previous coach did a good job of using its defensive capability, so that was neat. Nido Kings come around. It was fun seeing Sandslash, though, like, consistently coming from week to week. That was interesting. That's a mon you typically just don't see do stuff, but like the old coach brought it like it was a signature mon, and he brought it rather consistently. Granted, it did not do a lot, but it won half the games it came to. Let's see, Tyranitar is there. It's been doing kind of. Nido King's probably been. If I had to pick an MVP on this team, we're gonna go with probably Bulu. Looking at it. Or Nido King. I forgot to pick one for Violet City, but that would definitely... Violet City's MVP probably this season is going to be Tapu Fini. And we're going to move on to Midwest. Scroll up here a little bit. This team's been... They're hot. I haven't lost since the first week. And looking great. They picked up Cragnal. Oh, that's funny. If I lose that, I'm going to be upset. I am going to be upset. It's missing the sprite down there. But this team is hot. This is... If I had to pick one team to come out of the Whirl Islands, it would be this team right here. They are pretty stout. Like, Whirl Islands will probably end up winning the Silver Conference, is what I meant to say there. They have Mega Medichamp's stats are a bit misleading. It, for one, scares the crap out of your opponent in terms of prep, and it's chunked down a lot of teams. And probably would do better if it didn't have some of those side jump kick misses. It's plus to minus ratio there, but it's been pretty solid. Victini's been great. We're sitting there like really, really good. Weavile is sitting third right now in the stat kill leader. So if we had to pick an MVP, probably going to be Weavile. That is a great pickup there out of Tier 2. It's first season in Tier 2, so that's gone well for him. That's quite a deal. This team is just each week better and better. They've had some close wins, so we know they're not just like they're able to pull it out when it gets close at the end of the game. It's not like they're just blowing teams out. And we don't know how they'll be in a close match. They've been able to just show week to week consistent strength and just great prep each week. And honestly, this and San Antonio are probably the two teams we'll see in the finals. If I had to guess right now, I believe Midwest is locked in. Yeah, they're locked in for a playoff spot right now with 3 games left. So they're my favorite coming out of the Silver Conference. And moving forward, I believe the sky's really up for them. This coach has been week to week just very strong. So hopefully, if we do run into him, I'll be able to pull some kind of magic off if we run into the playoffs. This is the one team I would not want to run into right now. They're the San Antonio of last year in terms of being on a hot streak. They've just been going nonstop. And we're coming in next to, man, this sucks when it scrolled down to the bottom. I was editing the spreadsheet, you can tell. We got the Milwaukee Stantler. This team right now, I think, can actually make their way into the playoffs. I think they'll be able to pull, if this is the teams in the bubble, this one and Madison, I think, will make the playoffs. Though they do play each other one more time, so that's going to be interesting. This team's sitting right outside the playoff picture right now, I think, or they might be the last team in. We'll have to check. But they've played rather well all season. Conkeldur's come in. Raiku's been a good use. Has been used rather well. I like this team overall. They have a lot of hard hitters, and then the walls just kind of support the team, like the team as a whole, very well. Hitmonlee's been cool to see. It's done some stuff. God dang, that thing's 9-2. Okay, Hitmonlee, MVP right there. That's crazy. I just noticed that. Nothing's killing the game. I want to see Stantler come a little bit more. But, yeah, Milwaukee, I think, makes a late season run to get into the playoffs. Past 2 weeks, just missing out. So, like, this is the team that plays rather well. So I'm expecting to see them kind of squeak their way into the playoffs, either taking that last seed or next to last there in the Silver Conference. But they've played well all season. Like I've said, like, you can see their scores here. They're within all their games. Just had the beginning. They had just such a slow start and then got hot. So we'll see if they can kind of turn this trend around. And we're going to move on to the Madison Mid-Champs. Now, this is a team that has had its ups and downs. It's sitting 4-4 right now. This Week 9 matchup kind of sets them. They control their own destiny based off who's remaining on their schedule. I think if this team can kind of get out of a little bit of the funk that they're in, they'll be a force to reckon with. They get a little momentum going for the playoffs. I do look forward to seeing how they do coming up. They've made the trades they had this season. That's kind of when things fell apart. I think keeping Mega Beedrill would have been better, as I misspell it up there. For the team, just in terms of pivoting around, Token Tomorrow they've used pretty good. Pelipper, as always, is just the stats don't reflect it, but he's used quite well. And then we're gonna miss seeing Quagsire. Quagsire is crushing it. I just feel like the trades midseason kind of like derailed the momentum from this team a little bit. But we'll see going forward. They still got the Tapu Lucha, which is always scary. They got Necrozma's won a couple games for him right there, so that's been really good. But this is a team I definitely think going into divisional play is in a good spot. They went through the division undefeated. It's just the rest of the conference kind of was a little shaky. They had pretty tough out of conference opponents there. So we'll see what they do. I fully expect them to probably win out from here, get these last 4 games under their belt, and coast into the playoffs. If there was anything that sticks out that I did not like, not really. I just feel like this coach just kind of needs to get into a good spot and keep rolling, and we'll see what they do going forward. Wrong. Clicked 400 windows to get back to this. So yeah, looking at the Grants Raptors here, sitting at 5-4. We're still waiting to see how they match up against Milwaukee in this next week here. So that's going to be huge. I think if they beat Milwaukee, then they'll get themselves into the playoffs, because I believe they'll only need like 2. I think 2 is their magic number. And they're looking pretty solid. This team actually didn't make any trades this season. You can't blame them. The team kind of blends pretty well together. Let's see here. Mew's done its thing. It hasn't been like standoutish. What's kind of surprising on this team is how little Garchomp's actually been able to do. It's not sitting at 3-5, nothing too pretty there. But Xurkitree's put in a lot of work. He's made great use of that all season, actually. And Greninja too, just even with the torn ability, has been doing work. I like the Quillfish coming along. Actually, that was the trade. Yeah, I didn't adjust it there. But yeah, Quillfish has been a good addition to the team. Thing's tough to face. I hate that thing. But yeah, not a bad team. Not the Grants Raptors are sitting in, like I said, they're sitting in a good spot. This team's done well. It started off kind of slow, and then just they haven't gotten on long winning streaks continuously. They've been on and off as a team. They had that midway point in the season, so if they can kind of pick that back up, I think they'll be in a good spot going into the playoffs. And then we got Twin Leaf here. This is a team just got their first win last week, as we see there. Just sadly, I like all the Mons on this team. It just didn't live up to the hype. I don't know if they just didn't fit the coach right or anything, but like Mega Venusaur has probably been the one thing that's gone well with this team all season. Excadrill, I guess it just didn't fit. It just underperformed, which is surprising coming from that Mon. It's pretty strong. I think it would have benefited maybe a little bit if it was on like maybe a sand team or something. But sad to see that. Twin Leaf has been on a bit of a decline the past 2 seasons. This is probably the roughest one as of yet. But let's see. I've liked what they brought though. They've been within most of their games. It's not like they've been total blowouts for a majority like 0-3 as well. The scores are a little unreflective of how the matches have gone, but this is disappointing season for them, I'm sure. But I believe next season, if they come back, they'll be able to kind of turn it around. They've kind of learned some stuff that didn't work for them this season. Bringing back Tornadus T was probably the best trade they did there, because Hoop Unbound kind of disappoints a little bit in drafts sometimes, so the awkward speed tier. Just he wasn't a fan of it. Got rid of it a little early. Picked up Tornadoes T. Articuno was fun to see earlier in the season, actually. I wish he still had that. That was interesting. The Lipard just, I would have kept Articuno just for the memes. I liked it better, as Lipard didn't really even stick around. But Torkoal was pivotal in that win against Sootopolis last week. Taking advantage of the sun, kind of getting rid of the heel of this. That was nice. But just a rough season for Twin Leaf. I'm sure next season they'll do a little bit better. But we'll move on to the San Antonio Scrubs, who are up there with the Midwest Wild. This is probably they'll probably be in the finals, if we're being honest here. They've been rolling nonstop, except for just a little hiccup in Week 7 against Milwaukee, who is a good team. So it's not like they just lost to a fluke team there. They had a tough matchup that week. But we've seen Porygon 2 be an absolute threat, along with the Zero Aura. Porygon 2 is making a case for season MVP, and it's trying to climb up the leaderboard there. Alola doing great things. As per usual, we see San Antonio making great use of their walls. Something we didn't see last season because he didn't have it, and now we see he's got the offense to match the defense that this coach likes. And I would put money. If I had to put money on any team to win, this would probably be the best one. Looking at their draft, they didn't make any trades throughout the season, and it's by far probably the second or third strongest draft overall. But really fits the coach's play style and just has been solid. It's been really fun to watch because he just comes in each week. You never know what Porygon 2 you're getting either. We've seen offensive Porygon 2. We've seen just straight defensive, stall, everything, you name it. Hitmontop's been there as well. Stats don't really reflect it, but the 2 games it's been in, it's got a win. Wheezing also, all his walls just come in and basically shut down the opponent. Ferrothorn, great. He can pivot between having Ferrothorn as wall one week, going to Wheezing the next, Alola, Porygon 2. It's just hard to break. And then you've got Latios, who's a great draft mon. I love that thing. And then Mega Mawile just hitting things like crazy. Just put money on San Antonio to they might repeat. We've got Miami, who ever since the new coach has taken over, they actually just got a win this week as I'm recording this. So that's pretty solid. Taking over for new coach, for an old coach, I've liked what the new coach has been able to do. He's brought some fun sets. He's been within his matches. I like how he came in his first week, making a big statement against the Reunited Kingdom. Struggled a little bit since then. Has had a tough string of games, but has made pretty good use of Megalop. I'd like to see that. I do like Moltres was a cool addition, or has been used well this season by both coaches, so I like seeing that because I like Moltres, one of the prettier birds there. But Exploud is cool. It was a good pickup. And then hopefully we'll see a little Calm Mind Raichu stuff. We've heard rumors of it in the chat. But I think next season we'll kind of get a better feel for what this coach likes to do in terms of drafting his own team. The trades kind of reflect the play style he wants. He got rid of Rotomo, Blissey, and Meowstic, and Cobalion for Tentacruel, which I like. I kind of think this team could benefit. No, actually, Cobalion was a good trade. The double typing with Steel, Bisharp, it's kind of overlapped. They do about the same thing. But honestly, his trades kind of bolstered the team, made it a little bit better. Excited to see what Miami does next season. And then we got the GWS Gladiators. That still trips me up. It's been 10 weeks. Gets me every time. Still looking for that first win. Sadly, I don't know. We didn't see a lot of memes either this season, so I think it was just a tough season for Kronos here. He's improved as a battler compared to past seasons. He's been close winning a lot of his matches here. What I've liked to see, Kyron Black has been probably this team's MVP. It's done a lot. Mega Sharpedo's been a bit of a dud. Sad to see that. And Fernape kind of, it's there. Just a tough. I wish he kept Cofagrigus. Instead of picking up Rabambi. I liked that was probably the one mon you didn't know what set was coming each week so far that he brought it this season. So that was interesting, but yeah, just a tough season for him. Hopefully, maybe he'll get a win by the end. He's got a couple weeks left, 2 more to get something in there, but it was a tough season. Looking at the draft, I initially thought this might be the season. He's got good mons. You got Kyron Black, it's always a threat, and Fernape. Registeel and Gligar are good walls that kind of complement each other rather well. Then you got Rotom Wash in there. But just wasn't able to string stuff together, sadly enough. But we'll see how it goes next season. We'll see if he can kind of find out the mods that he likes to use, kind of slow his play style down just a little bit, and I think if he makes better reads in matches, he'll do a little better in terms of like overall play throughout the season. And then next, we're going to look at Seattle, who is in control of their destiny as well. This is one of the few, that last spot in the gold division is going to be tight, as we just saw them lose to Miami this week. A little bit of an upset there. That was a big game, especially with Boston losing. So that's going to say neck and neck with getting in. And then you got Indianapolis losing. So all these teams that are trying to get in, no one kind of took the opportunity besides the United Kingdom to kind of jump ahead. But let's looking at this team, I like the trade we saw of a Alolan Golem switching to Rhydon. I feel like that fits his style a little better, a little more bulk. It helped a lot. As per usual, Vaporeon has been pivotal in this season. He started off slow, so I was kind of like, I don't know how Seattle's going to do this year. I don't know if they just drafted funny, because on paper it looks great. I think it just took a minute to get him used to this team, because he's kind of rolling as of late, besides like past couple weeks. Excuse me. But Charizard Mega X has actually done more stuff than usual. For whatever reason, this thing struggles in draft, in the WPF at least, to do things. It usually just comes in and kind of gets taken out by rocks, but he's done a good job of keeping rocks off the field. Ninetales Alola, great pick. I wish I had it. Still jealous. He's made good use of that. It's at 9-3. Celesteela's been good. Latias has helped carry and pick the team up a little bit when they were down, but once he kind of got that to fitting well, he was doing great. Scoliped's kind of a cool mon there. It's always threatening. He hasn't brought it a lot, I don't believe, yet, but each time he has, it's won the match. Put in a little bit of work. It's always a threat, and it impacts your opponent's prep. Ditto is probably it's up there in one of the most annoying mons in terms of draft, especially for like teams that like to run setup. He's made pretty decent use of that. Sitting at about 500 win percentage, but nothing weird. I'm sad to see coming back from last season is Kecleon has it. The wow factor is gone. People are a little bit more aware of it this season as compared to last, as I went in last season. But Seattle, I think of the three teams fighting for last spot, if I had to pick one to maybe be on the outside, it would possibly be Seattle, just because I got to double check, but I believe they play Boston one more time, and then they've got Indianapolis. And just based off how their previous matches went, I feel like Seattle will be kind of on the outside sitting in. I could be wrong, but if I had to base it off just who they got remaining left, I think they have the tougher road going left. Speaking of Boston, we're going to look at them. Another team in control of their destiny, sitting just a hair above Seattle, I believe, right now. Tough loss to the Reunited Kingdom this week. That was a bit unfortunate, as Boston, in control of their own destiny, it's been a roller coaster season. Kind of expected them to kind of run through. They're in the toughest division by far in the whole league, with Reunited Kingdom, Indianapolis, and Seattle. That's just not fun. I think they got Scrubs in there, so I'm not sure. Playing San Antonio also isn't fun. The divisional record is 1-3. That actually sticks out. That's kind of shocking. They played a little stronger in the conference, but I think they'll be able to eke out one last win to kind of get themselves into the playoffs, but they're in control of their own destiny. Mega Scizor hasn't been as impactful as last season. If I were to pick a team MVP for this team, looking at it, they're very similar to how ours is, but Blacephalon probably has been the biggest threat for them all season. It's kind of carried the load in terms of most kills. It's the biggest threat to prep for. Well, second most kills, but Mega Scizor's been there, but just hasn't been able to do work. I know this coach has really wanted to use this in past seasons, and finally this opportunity. It just hasn't worked out as well as he'd hope. But I believe Boston is one of the last teams that gets in, sneaks in there. These next 2 weeks, I think they pick up at least one more win for sure. And then we're going to the Indianapolis Volts here, who is going to be the last team out that gets in my opinion. They've made tremendous use of Mega Gyarados. Big fan. Much appreciated. Showing my love to the boy. Sadly, Jirachi hasn't made great use of Jirachi, which is kind of shocking. I like the versatility of that mon. It just doesn't show up on the stat sheet there. Looking at trades, I think Superior for Shaman was definitely an upgrade. And then getting rid of Kyram for Pilliswine, even though Pilliswine hasn't come yet, I think that's a better addition to the team. I think their trades bolstered this team a little bit. But this team's played well. As long as their prep is on point, they're usually like in good shape against their opponent. I've really liked the use of Nihilego and Arcanine, as we've seen a lot of different stuff from Arcanine, as it's been pretty cool to see defensive to a little bit of offensive. It's always been involved in the prep from what I know, and it's just done a great job. Mega Gyarados, he's timed out the right time to get in with it to kind of set up to help win each match. As you can see, it's I believe it's number 2 in the MVP leaderboard right now, but it's 16-4. It's probably made itself the best Mega, as we've seen each season from coach to coach that it's done great. But like I said, I believe Indy gets in. But yeah, a team that I wish had made these trades earlier in the season, I think it would have been a different story, is going to be the Farmland Farfetch'd, whose logo has disappeared. Getting rid of Tornadus T for Skarmory it fits the coach better. And getting rid of Metagross for Crobat's better, and then Azumarill for Terrakion has been solid. Terrakion has been a monster the past 2 weeks. Paired along with the Mega Ardina, which has been, if I had to pick a surprise mono of the season, like, don't look at the stat sheet here, but it has been impactful in each of the wins it's had, and then each of the games has kept him in there. Again, scores for this coach early on in the season was a bit rough, but some of the losses are a little closer than they appear. Probably could have snagged another win a couple weeks back against who was it? Midwest. That burn was pretty crucial there. They played well. They've gotten better as the season's gone on, and they've kind of like fit the team to their mold, and as they've got a little familiar with some of the new tech from other mods, have done rather well. Like I said, Mega Ardino has been really cool to watch. Yeah, that's Blaziken too. I like the special Blaziken to come a couple times, which is interesting. I like seeing that because that's something you don't really think about in prep, really, because the special side's not as great. And I've liked the variety of sets we've seen from Farmland. All their matches have been entertaining. I've enjoyed watching each one of them throughout this entire season. So I think if they come back next season, unless he takes a break, I feel like Farmland's going to kind of, if they finish the season strong, pick up a little bit of steam and really be a threat next season to get towards the playoffs. And then lastly, we're just going to talk about the Reunited Kingdom. Big win in Week 10 against Boston. It's not on the stat sheet yet, so they're another team. I think they're in. They might need just one more win, but looking at the divisional record, 90% sure that they're in. We've seen this team MVP definitely is going to be Toxapex. It's been an absolute monster the whole season. Scrafty as well. 9-1 Scrafty. Holy cow. They've had a multiple like 5-0, 6-0 games, which is just shows how good this team is. They've run into a big of a hiccup against like San Antonio. They got surprised by Miami early, but they've rebounded and have done quite well. So this is a team, if I had to pick, I think they'll get far into the playoffs, possibly second round, just on the walls. And I think a surprise team that might be able to trip up San Antonio, if they can kind of get like in their head that they're like on par with San Antonio. I really feel like they have a chance. They match up similarly well against them. Play styles are kind of similar. I just think if they kind of relax as they play, not get in their head a little bit, they should be. They have a good chance of beating San Antonio. It'll be excited to see how they like play out going into the season here, like the end of the season going into the playoffs. But we'll just take a little bit of a look here at the standings. Midwest sitting atop of the Royal Islands currently, followed by Tennessee, and then the Ruins of Alpha is going to be that's going to be a battle to finish out. I think coming out of it, I think we'll get Madison and Milwaukee is going to be my picks from that. So we're going to have the Silver Conference. We're going to have Midwest at number 1, Tennessee at number 2. Madison's going to finish out 3 if I had to predict, and then Milwaukee's going to round out the Silver Conference. And if we scroll down to the Gold Conference, we're going to have the winner of the Burn Tower is going to definitely be San Antonio, and then Seattle coming in second there. Bell Tower is going to be, I think if we had to pick a winner, Reunited Kingdom will win that division. Followed up by, I'm going to put Indy coming in second to win the Bell Tower. But in terms of playoffs, I think we're going to have Reunited Kingdom, Indianapolis, and Boston with San Antonio. Going San Antonio number 1, Reunited 2, Indy 3, and Boston getting that last spot. So excited to see how we close this season out, guys. It's been a fun one. We'll have a few more power rankings just kind of round the season out. Sorry for the delay. I've had a bunch of crazy stuff with life going on, but appreciate you guys, and hopefully this is going to be another great finish to the season. Look forward to seeing who gets in. All right.